everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be dialing in from around the world. Thank you all for joining and spending the next hour with us for today's webinar, Decommoditizing Business Credit, Why Excellence in Loan Servicing is a Holy Grail. I am Caitlin Labby, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. We'll be starting the webinar shortly, but first let me just cover a few quick housekeeping items. Today's webinar will be recorded, and a link to view the recording on demand will be available after the session. We will be taking questions at the end of the webinar, so please feel free to submit your questions using the questions feature located in the GoToWebinar toolbar to the right of your screen. It is now my pleasure to introduce today's speakers. David O'Connell is a strategic advisor at Novarica Group, specializing in commercial banking. A former commercial lender of 14 years, David brings to his lending coverage extensive hands-on and granular knowledge of banks' challenges in building businesses that lend safely, cost-effectively, and at scale. Skilled in performing economic analyses of both existing and pro forma technology deployments, David is also the author of Novarica Group's rapidly growing body of ROI capabilities, including customized ROI calculators, case studies, white papers, and Salesforce training. Lisa Siampi has 30 years of financial services auditing, accounting, and operations experience. Early in her career, Lisa spent 6 years in public accounting, working for KPMG and Cohn-Resnick, where she earned her license as a certified public accountant. After her career in public accounting, she worked at several companies in the financial services industry, overseeing various accounting functions. Lisa joined PPAC Gladstone Bank in 2017 as SVP, Head of Loan Operations. She was promoted to assume management and oversight of all bank operations in 2019 as SVP, Head of Operations. As Head of Operations, she leads over 100 operating projects to realize transformation, strengthen the control environment, remediate deficiencies, improve workflow, and drive workload balancing for deposit, electronic banking, escrow, treasury management, and loan operations. So, without further ado, I'll turn the mic over now to David. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope you enjoy today's webinar.
Thanks very much for that, Caitlin. I'm really excited to be here. The reason I'm excited to be here is that I feel that in loan servicing, I have found an apparently dull topic, okay, and emphasis on apparently. A topic that, though apparently dull to some, has within it a phenomenon that's extremely important to commercial banking. Okay, the topic on my mind is excellence in commercial loan servicing. The reason I feel so strongly about it is I feel that when it's done well, it can confer onto a bank a competitive advantage to which there are barriers. It's something you can't just buy. You can't just go to a vendor or hire or rapidly kind of change a configured capability or something like that. And because of those barriers, it's not just a competitive advantage, but one with barriers, and therefore it is that rarest of things, a sustainable competitive advantage. And not only that, but it deters price erosion. And that's why I feel strongly about what we're talking about here today. What we'll talk a little bit is the importance of excellence, what it looks like when it's achieved, and what it looks like when it's not achieved, okay? And then what the roadmap or sort of the recipe is for having excellence in loan servicing. We'll talk a little bit about the business case. And I say a little bit because it's pretty easy to make a pretty compelling business case. We won't go through these items, one by one, but we'll talk about all of these. And throughout this, we'll talk a little bit about how to add